In today's episode, we are going to be talking about how to always win when you are betting or trading on poly markets. Now, this particular strategy will help you 1000x your portfolio in a short period of time. Without further ado, let's talk about this. So, if you go to Polymarket Bitcoin Up and Down, right? This is basically how you navigate it. You just go to crypto and you look at the time frame that you are interested in. So usually the most lucrative time frame to trade is the 15 minutes, the 4 hour, and also the daily. Okay, so the only times you're supposed to be trading the 15 minutes is when a trend has been defined or when there is a trend reversal, and the masses do not know that a trend reversal has initiated. Let me give you an example. Okay, so for example, if we take a look at the 3 day time frame, right, as far as Bitcoin is concerned, there was a time and a period before the reversals. So when it comes to 15-minute time frames, the most lucrative are the ones that are going to finalize the trend reversal after a ferocious push towards the upside. If you really want to profit off of this, right, you can also do a daily. As a matter of fact, the 15-minute Bitcoin up and down on Polymarket is going to be very profitable, but it's going to be the riskiest. Okay, so in order for you to sort of gain the most amount of money and minimize your risk, right? Because the most important thing that you're supposed to understand when it comes to these poly market scenarios is the aspect of risk. Okay, once you identify the amount of risk that you're going to take, you can therefore predict the availability of the success rate in a specific time frame. I hope I'm making sense. So before you decide which one you're going to go for, right, as far as Bitcoin up and down is concerned on Polymarket, you have to figure out which term, or rather which time frame, has got the biggest odds. Like for example, currently the price of Bitcoin is around 90,000. Let me just go to Bitcoin and let's click on Bitcoin right over here. It's 90,325. And from an overall perspective, right, we are beginning to form a ranging market. Okay, so you have to identify what phase of a trend we are in. So rule number one, identify these few things. What part of the trend you are in has a trend reversal already occurred, and will the trend continue? If you identify these three aspects, you're going to do very well trading on poly markets, and you guys are going to be able to now further define your risk appetite. So first of all, figure out what part of the trend you are currently in. So in today's scenario, we obviously had a range between 81,000 to 93,000. So the bottom of the range is 80,000, right? Close to 80,000, 81,000, and the top of the range is 95,000. So one thing that you have to know about this particular structure is this is a wave 4 structure. So what's going to happen is the price of Bitcoin is probably going to revisit either the lowest part of the structure, or it's already started this trajectory maybe to the mid of the structure. So for a fact, I can tell you that the price of Bitcoin is going to drop in the next coming 2 to 3 days. At least I know that in the next coming 4 to about 48 hours, we're most likely going to have a downtrend. So when you go back to poly markets, does any of the conditions favor your theory? Trading predictions on Polymarket is a very lucrative endeavor. In order for you to have the best results, you have to be part of our private trading group. We offer mentorship, we give predictions, and most importantly, we teach you how to do it by yourself. If you are interested in getting the best results trading on Polymarket, especially Bitcoin up and down, we have the blueprint. The email is right over here on the screen. Email me, let me know that you want to be part of the private trading group, and I'm going to set you up and we're going to figure it out, and you are going to be on your way to making a lot of money trading on Polymarket. So what you're essentially doing on Polymarket is you are betting time and price. Okay, that's what you are essentially doing. You're trying to predict what the price would be at in a specific period of time. So now that we have established the fact that obviously we reached the highest part of our chart, which is around 94,000, so we know there's a higher probability of the price not going there. Let's take a look at what type of odds or conditions we have. So right over here, we've got a weekly time frame, we've got a daily time frame, and we've got a 4-hourly time frame. So based on these different time frames, which setup goes with our prediction? Okay, and remember, this particular move is most likely going to happen in the next 24 to about 48 hours. Between now, the next 4 hours to about the next 48 hours, we're likely going to have a downtrend. So let's go to the weekly time frame. The weekly time frame is a very big time frame. Our prediction is going to be off. It's not really an accurate one. So if you take a look at December 11th today, right, we just simply click on it. Let's see what odds they have given us. So there's people who are suggesting it's going to go to 82,000. There's that amount of volume. This is not really making any sense to us. Let's sort of go back and see what other type of scenarios we have. So let's go to the daily time frame. Daily time frame, Bitcoin up and down on December. So we're only remaining with 5 hours. So a lot of people are, the condition, the market condition is it should close above 92,113. Okay, so if you bet up, right, it means you are predicting that the price is going to beat 92,1113. And if you take a look at this, right, this is one of the reasons why the up shares are very low. Everybody is predicting that the price is going to drop down, and this is one of the reasons why the shares are very important. So it's very important for you to consider the value of the shares for that particular prediction. So whenever you're getting into Polymarket, right, first of all, figure out what the highest odds are. Number one, we have already established that it's highly unlikely for the price to go back above 92,000, even above 93 or 92,000. Okay, but the only way we can take this particular prediction is if the shares were in our odds. Right now, there's only about 5 hours remaining, and this is one of the reasons why the shares are very overvalued. So I wouldn't want to take this particular prediction, and I would skip it. If we sort of came in and we sort of go in early, if the shares were cheaper than 30 cents per share, then it would have made sense. So this to me doesn't really make any sense at all, and I would rather skip the daily time frame. So now going back to the other smaller time frames, let's go to the 4-hourly time frame. Let's see if we have any odds that sort of guarantee what we are predicting. So in the next 1 hour, because if you look at the timeline, it shows this prediction is going to be over by 1 hour. And let's look at the prices. So the prices are 41 cents versus 63 cents. So those who are predicting that the price is going to be above 90,204, they are going to sort of buy each share at 63 cents. So if you look at the value of this, right, this isn't very lucrative because none of these prices give a very good risk appetite and win ratio probability, because there's some sort of equilibrium. So to me, this doesn't really make any sense. I want to bet, or rather predict, against everybody else and be able to cash out before the timer runs out. And this is one of the reasons why I love getting in early, and I do not like such type of predictions, because let's say, for example, we put in a 20, right? If we happen to be right, we only earn about 32, which is not really as lucrative, because on average the highest amounts a share goes is like close to $1. You understand? So this is one of the reasons why you should also consider that and really take that into considerations before you jump into any trade. So number one, we are too late for these predictions and we have to look for a better opportunity. So the secret is just basically about you understanding how the game is played and how to sort of get the most out of each prediction. And this is one of the reasons why take your time, avoid these overly short time frames like the 15 minutes and the hourly, because they are not really going to give you the highest probability of winning. So let's look at the 15-minute time frame. So according to this, right, we're remaining with about 10 minutes. And if you look at the shares, 56 versus 45, it already means, it's not really one of those lucrative ones. So the price to beat is 90,274. The current price is around 90,279. But based on this, right, perhaps we have a very good chance of, making some good amounts of money, because if we are right, we're going to see the shares go to about 96 or 95 cents. Maybe we can sort of get some good money. So now let's go back to the charts and let's go to the 15-minute time frame. So the only thing that we're supposed to do right over here is understand if the price is going to be beat 90,275. So if we take a look at this, right, what are we having right over here? Okay, so let me just zoom in, and if you look at what's happening, the price is obviously going to go most likely down. I do not really believe so. Anyway, let's go to the 1 hour time frame. The 1 hour time frame has been dumping like crazy. Okay, and wherever this is going to, and moreover, if you look at the smaller time frame, right, it also has a range. Take a look at this. We've got the highest and the lowest. So the highest was 90,500. So if I were you in this particular scenario, right, I would rather wait for the price to hit the highest level of the range. So you're only taking predictions in two scenarios: when you've got the absolute surety because you've hit the top range, or you've hit the lowest range. So in the middle of the range, whichever trade that you're going to get, right, it's going to be very dicey for you to have like an absolute resolution, because it can go either ways. So increase your highest odds. Remember, the 3-day time frame is showing a downtrend. So in order for us to have the best odds, we have to reach the highest level of the current range. You understand? Because our theory suggests that in the next 4 to about 72, or rather 4 to about 48 hours, the price is going to go down. So in order for us to have the highest odds and for us to sort of predict with conviction, we wait for the price to push up. When the price pushes up, right, and we already know for a fact 90,500 was the highest level of the price. So wait for the predictions and the odds that are going to favor a downtrend when the price pumps to the highest level of your range. I hope you guys understand my scenario. I'm not really going to take this prediction. I'm going to skip this because I'm not really in control and I do not have the lowest amount of risk. Okay, yes, some people are going to do very well right over here. We already see the uptrend, the value of the shares is increasing, but this is not how we trade. We have to trade with precision. And remember, if we understand the next 4 to about 48 hours is a downtrend, wait for the price to push up and have an exhaustion. When the price has an exhaustion at the top of the range like this, when it comes to the top of a range right over here, anything above 90,500, then you predict against, or rather you predict for the price to go lower. When that happens, you are going to really capitalize and make a whole lot of money. I hope you guys really understand what I'm trying to say, and I hope it makes sense. But rewatch this video and listen to my analogy and understand why I didn't take this trade. This is a straight up gamble right over here. You need to be able to have full conviction, and this is one of the reasons why it's very important for you to sort of only trade, or rather only predict in the trend direction and wait for the price to give you the highest conviction. If, let's say for example, you expect the price to go down, wait for the price to have a pullback, and then you can bet and predict the price to go down. You get my point? Anyhow, if you guys do not understand, it just means you need proper full mentorship from me, which I gladly provide. In order for you to join our prediction group, all you have to do is send me an email. Guys are definitely killing it in our private trading groups, and I really believe that you guys are going to have maximum acceleration because there's a lot of opportunities, guys. Polymarket is printing millionaires. Meme coins are dead. The markets are like really bad at the moment, so the only way to make good amounts of money is you trading the shares and betting against people. So if you guys are interested in making a whole lot of money, please let me know in the comment section below. Send me an email. The email is in the description.